This is CBC Here and Now.
Homicide investigation. Police now believe Courtney Lake is dead.
Investigators have identified people of interest, but we will not be providing any information on who may be involved.
It certainly has the appearance of a breach.
RNC members are on the sunshine list, but they weren't supposed to be.
The latest and greatest.
Coast Guard shows off the newest addition to its fleet.
It's the long weekend, and we are tracking showers and thunderstorms moving into Central as we speak. The weekend forecast as a whole has some showers and some sun. Warmest temps Monday. The details are coming up.
Well, for over 3 weeks, Courtney Lake's family was hoping she would return to them alive, but this morning that hope was destroyed as police announced they now believe she was killed.
And they're asking for the public's help in locating her body that they believe may be in a wooded area. Here Now's Megan McCabe has reported on this story since Lake went missing. She joins us again tonight. Megan.
Police aren't saying exactly what evidence led them to believe that Lake's been murdered, but this new video showing Lake right here getting into this black truck in Mount Pearl is a critical piece of the puzzle. This is from an unidentified dash cam, and police say it was recorded on the evening of June 7th at exactly 7:54. Police say it shows Lake getting into the passenger side of a black GMC pickup truck on Michener Avenue, which is very close to her mom's house in Mount Pearl. Until now, the last images of Lake were from here, walking away from her mom's house on Wellington Crescent, and it was taken just 2 minutes earlier at 7:52 p.m. that night. And she ends up here on Michener Avenue, and there's been absolutely no sign of her since. Now, police are not saying who's driving that truck or who owns it, but we do know that it matches the description of a truck removed from her ex-boyfriend's house earlier this week.
We're not going to, I guess, speculate as to whether or not that truck was the truck we're looking for, but we know that the truck that Courtney got into was a black GMC truck. We do know that, and you can't see it in the video that we've released. I think there's another part of the clip there where investigators were able to see that there's that distinctive deer head is in a camo pattern.
So this is the truck that Lake gets into. And this is the truck taken from 22 Alice Drive, where her ex-boyfriend Philip Stephen Smith lived. Now you can see the window is smashed out of this one, and you can also see that distinctive deer head in a camouflage pattern, which Constable Higdon describes. Here's an even clearer shot of it. Now, police say that if anyone noticed this truck driving or if it was parked somewhere in the woods, this decal should really stick out. The RNC says that persons of interest have been identified, but no one is charged at this point. Her ex, 25-year-old Philip Stephen Smith, has been in custody since Tuesday when he was arrested for breaching court orders, including an order to stay away from Courtney and her mom. He'll be in court for a bail hearing on those charges on Tuesday. Carolyn?
Thanks, Megan. That's Here and Now's Megan McCabe. Well, after hearing today's news, Courtney Lake's family released a statement. It reads, "Our hearts are forever broken. Courtney has been taken from us in the worst way imaginable. We are horrified and devastated as we think of what her last moments on this earth might have been. We will not rest until we bring Courtney home. We hope justice is swift and strong. Our family is very thankful for the overwhelming amount of support we've received over the last 3 weeks. We implore the public now to come forward to police with any additional information or video footage that could help us find Courtney."
Well, with the new video released today, we have a better idea of the last minutes Courtney Lake was seen alive. She has been missing from that quiet Mount Pearl neighborhood since June 7th. Here Now's Ryan Cook takes us to the scene.
On June 7th, Courtney Lake left her home on Wellington Crescent. She made this short walk up Lindbergh Avenue, across traffic lights at the intersection of Ruth Avenue. She ended up here on Michener Avenue, where she stepped into a black pickup truck. By a stroke of luck, her last steps may have been captured on a dash cam.
The public has been providing information that, of course, has been leading to searches. The dash cam video that we received is, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at it, but it's pretty spectacular that we actually have video of that moment that she got into a truck.
Now here's how that 2-minute walk looks on a map. As you can see, it's not far, but it does pass streets, a school, a bus stop, and these are all potential eyes, ears, and cameras. In the age of dash cams and home security, police are hoping somebody else has seen something. They believe Lake was taken to a secluded, possibly wooded area, somewhere private, quiet, where the young mother's life came to an end.
Unfortunately, we don't know how far she would have been driven. If you have any video, for example, if you're driving out the Outer Ring Road and you had dash cam that was running at that time and maybe it picks up a black truck, then that could be helpful to investigators.
Police have searched several wooded areas, some close to the pickup point on Michener Avenue, some as far away as Seal Cove. If anyone has dash cam footage from June 7th after 7:54 p.m., they are asked to contact the police. Something seemingly inconspicuous, a common black pickup, could just be the break the police and Lake's family are desperately looking for. For Here and Now in Mount Pearl, I'm Ryan Cook.
Well, in other news tonight, the provincial government released more information than it intended today in its sunshine list. The names of rank and file RNC officers were supposed to be kept secret, but they were posted, and government didn't realize the mistake until we told them. Here and Now's Peter Cowan reports.
The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary Association successfully convinced government not to release the names of its officers on the sunshine list. It was concerned that criminals could target the RNC members. Just this morning, the Premier reiterated why the information should not be published.
Those names attached to the salaries could include or would actually jeopardize in some cases safety of those officers. No way do we want to do this.
But as the Premier spoke, that information was already available on the government website, part of the list of every government worker who made more than $100,000 last year. It was contained inside another spreadsheet posted as part of the so-called sunshine list. It included the names, badge number, and employee ID for all of the officers on the list.
It appears that the names of RNC officers were published.
We called finance officials and left messages to alert them to the breach. They didn't realize the information had been posted. We walked them through where the information was, and within half an hour, it was deleted. But it wasn't just RNC officers. Employee IDs for core government workers were also published, covering more than 800 workers. That would be an apparent violation of the Access to Information and Privacy Act. The Information and Privacy Commissioner says he may now be investigating.
I'd be surprised if we don't get a complaint, but in any event, a complaint is not required for us to decide whether or not to investigate a matter.
CBC is choosing not to republish the posted information. Peter Cowan, CBC News, St. John's.
Now, Peter just got off the phone with Justice Minister Andrew Parsons, who is promising an investigation into how the breach happened to make sure it doesn't happen again. He also expects any employees who had their personal information posted will be notified.
A forest fire near Muskrat Falls is now 60% contained, but forestry officials still list the 225-hectare blaze as out of control. It's burning in an area near Edwards Brook. That's about 40 kilometers west of Happy Valley Goose Bay. Firefighters started tackling the blaze on Wednesday. The cause of the fire is unknown.
Marine safety, environmental protection, fisheries enforcement, and much more. Those jobs are all done by the Canadian Coast Guard, and they were all made a little easier this week. A new helicopter has been added to the fleet in St. John's. The Coast Guard showed it off to the media today, and as you'll see, our Terry Roberts had a bit too much fun on this story.
It's Friday, the last day before my summer vacation, and it's not going to be a typical day at work. I'm going to fly in this $12 million chopper with this man, pilot Don Dobbin.
All right, let's get ready to go.
On today's mission. Ideal flying conditions, silky smooth ride, amazing scenery, a short stopover at Cape St. Francis, but there's trouble.
Pilot Dobbin, we just got a report, fishermen peeing over the side of their boat. Environmental emergency. Get to the chopper.
Okay, let's go.
Back at the hangar, mission accomplished. One satisfied pilot.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate to be here with Coast Guard at this time, you know, and they're giving us these great tools. You know, we have one here, and we have a new 429. You know, it's the latest and greatest of what's out there right now for aviation. And like you say, we have the tools now to whatever Coast Guard mandate us. You know, if we have the tools now to do it.
And this is no blunt instrument, a finely tuned aircraft.
So Pilot Don Dobbin, obviously a great day for a flight, and all kidding aside, this is a great new tool in the inventory of the Coast Guard, and we appreciate you giving us a look today. Reporting for CBC News, I'm Terry Roberts in St. John's.
Canada's 150th birthday party is just about to get underway, but two women from this province have some special gifts for our country. I'm Jeremy, and I'll have that story coming up.
It's Friday, it's a long weekend, fantastic.
Yes, and what a start here to the long weekend in the east, where temperatures right now are 23 degrees in St. John's. So nice. If you're watching, I hope you have the window open, or maybe you're watching us on the deck. If you're in central Newfoundland, I hope you have the windows closed, as well as the west coast, because the showers are rolling in there, even a few rumbles of thunder. Let's take a look at those current temperatures. Right now, it is indeed 23 in St. John's, 15 in Gander, just 12 in Badger, 17 in Corner Brook, and 6 in Twillingate. where we're seeing that colder air come in on the other side of this line, which is again rolling in from the northwest. Lots of activity here over the northern peninsula, up across western Newfoundland, and yes, pushing into central with some heavy downpours with this and some lightning strikes detected out towards the Grand Falls, Windsor area. A couple of stray showers in the Gander region earlier. Most of the activity right now looks to be from the Bay of Exploits back across to the Green Bay, White Bay area and down towards Corner Brook and the west coast. And again, some pretty heavy cells rolling through the Grand Falls, Windsor region right now. Most of the activity has been clearing out of Labrador. Still some showers up towards the straits in the southeast through the next couple of hours, but this will all sink southward, and primarily it's a Newfoundland story for Saturday morning. We're starting dry for Labrador with a beautiful Saturday setting up. I think the west coast does start dry for tomorrow. It's just a slight risk for the early morning hours, then a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. It's central and especially east that will be wet to start on Saturday. Things will clear into the afternoon. Still a lingering risk of some patchy shower or drizzle activity through the mid-afternoon time period, but we're really drying out for tomorrow evening. Of your full fireworks forecast coming up in my next weather update, but I will tell you right now that looking dry, a little cool on the island, and the only chance we're looking at some showers will be for western parts of Labrador. So tomorrow in detail, there's your morning outlook. We are going to start in the double digits in St. John's. It will be mild with south-southwest winds, but it will be wet. If you're heading to the Signal Hill ceremony, you're going to want the rain gear. Is a must for sure. Chance of showers, again, extending into central parts of Newfoundland for tomorrow. That dry start in the west, and Labrador is again looking at a dandy start. Canada and of course Memorial Day, and so if you are taking in the ceremonies in the morning, talking about 12 degrees, that sunrise at 5:07. Isolated shower and drizzle risk into the afternoon. Mainly cloudy but dry for tomorrow evening. Yes, just 7 degrees for the firework forecast down at Kitty Vitty, and of course that big concert going on at Kitty Vitty Lake for tomorrow with the sheepdogs, and it does look dry but cool bundle up there. There are your showers in the morning. There's that partial clearing into the afternoon and that full clear out for tomorrow evening. 13 to 14 for tomorrow with those winds becoming north, sustained near 20. That's going to cap our temperatures tomorrow. Chance to get a little bit warmer towards the south coast. I think parts of the Burin Peninsula are near 18 degrees tomorrow. There are those showers early on in central, clearing out into the afternoon. Even some sun breaks possible, especially Grand Falls, Windsor, and areas west, but just 13 degrees with that northerly wind, 18 to 20 along inland parts of the south coast. Clouds thick in the early morning, beautiful afternoon. 18, 19 degrees for Corner Brook. And portions of the west coast are looking good there. Northern Peninsula, southeastern Labrador, anywhere from 8 in those onshore winds in St. Anthony to as warm as 15. And again, a beautiful day along the coast of Labrador, 18 degrees there and 18 to 20 for central portions with lots of sun and cloud. We'll talk about your long range Sunday, Monday details. We'll have all of that in your Canada fireworks forecast coming up. Debbie?
Thanks, Ryan. Well, a tragic crash took away Colby Duffonet's life as he knew it. The now 21-year-old suffered a traumatic brain injury when a drunk ATV driver struck him down in 2015. Duffonet is now out of hospital and home with his friends. Although his quality of life has slightly improved, his father still can't forget what happened. Here Now's Colleen Connors has that story.
Colby Duffonet can smile now. He enjoys listening to music. Colby is a very different person than he was just a few months ago when he was still confined to a hospital room in Stephenville. His father fought to bring him home. With 24-hour care from 8 home care workers, Colby was able to return to his family house on March 15th.
It's just his demeanor has changed. He's happier, which makes everybody happy around, I guess.
A drunk ATV driver struck Colby down when he was walking home from a Christmas party in 2015. The impact catapulted him over 60 meters down the main road. He suffered a severe brain injury and will never walk, talk, or chew food again. But in the last year and a half, Colby has improved.
He smiles a lot more.
He has a custom space which fits his needs. His 24-hour care eases pain and discomfort. His new wheelchair is longer and rolls over rough terrain. The next step? A community fundraiser to pay for a proper van that can fit his wheelchair.
Oh, I think it will really change their quality of life, because then he can get out and start visiting places that he hasn't been in a long time because he's in this situation, and oh, it'll be great. It'll just be great.
His father can't wait.
I'm going to take Colby around the loop here on the Potaport Peninsula. We're going to take him around there. They used to go a lot when he was younger with his friends. So that's the first thing we're going to do.
Along that route, they'll pass the exact place where Colby was struck down. The underage drunk ATV driver was sentenced to 2 years probation and 240 hours of community service. But Duffany says that service should go towards Colby.
His actions could be much better. I'm trying to fundraise to help get Colby's quality of life. You know, what better way? Really? I mean, he's got to do community service anyway, so if you're going to get credit for his hours, why not do something good? At least, to me, it would be bridging the gap, trying to make peace with what happened, try to make peace with us.
The young man involved has not come forward, but that's not stopping Colby's father from trying to move on and bring some peace into their lives. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Piccadilly.
Well, people all across Canada will find ways to celebrate the country's 150th birthday, but 2 women from this province spun together some special gifts. Now, you might not think to celebrate the big day by knitting mittens or crocheting your own Mary Brown's meal, but that's what makes this place interesting. Here Now's Jeremy Eaton explains.
Looks good enough to eat, but look closely, that's not a delicious Big Mary, but a delicate handmade one.
Aside from just my absolute love for Big Mary meals, I heard that Mary Brown's was having a contest, and it was just an art Canada Day contest. Just submit any form of art that was related to Mary Brown's, and I went with what I know, which is crocheting, and recreated this.
Carrie Dunphy's contest submission is almost as popular as the Big Mary itself.
It's been insane. I can't believe it. I thought a few dozen of my friends would get a kick out of it, and it's blown up. I've got hundreds and hundreds of likes and shares and comments on my Facebook from people I don't know, people across the country.
These tasty treats took a few weeks to create, and if she wins, free poutine for a full year.
The best part has definitely been just people's reactions and seeing how happy and surprised people are by it.
From mouth-watering to must-haves for winter, Cheryl Stacey was also inspired by Canada's 150th.
My plan for Canada's birthday was to knit 150 mittens, which equates to 75 pairs of mitts.
It's a birthday gift that can even warm the coldest hands or heart.
I'm a proud Newfoundlander, but I belong to the best country in the world, which is Canada, and I feel blessed that I was born in Canada.
Stacey started in February and can put together a pair in about a night. She's got around 50 sets so far and is currently working on the rest.
I haven't decided 100% yet, but I'm maybe sell them, and if I do, I'll donate the money to a charity, or I'll donate the mitts themselves to a worthy cause.
The Canada 150 celebrations get underway here at Signal Hill early tomorrow morning, but it's not calling for a very nice day, which means these mittens just might come in handy. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, St. John's.
The leaders of the Salvation Army are in St. John's this weekend, and I got a chance to speak with them about the work they're doing around the world. That's next.
Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to Here and Now. The Salvation Army is a familiar presence in this province. Whenever there's a tragedy or need or hunger, it's not unusual to see a Salvation Army uniform nearby. But it's not just here. The religious organization operates in 128 countries worldwide, and the man in charge of it all, the world leader, is in St. John's right now. And that's a very big deal for local members. General Andre Cox is here to take part in an ordination ceremony, and his second in command, Brian Peddle, who also happens to be a Newfoundlander from Norman's Cove, is here with him. Now, they're quick to point out they are rarely in the same place at the same time. Individually, they travel the world to some of the most poverty-stricken places, overseeing the work of the Salvation Army. Well, this morning, I spoke with them both about the work the Salvation Army does here and around the globe.
A part of the celebration we're here for is not just about us, and so that we can feel good and we can feel happy, and we're going to enjoy some really first-rate music and many other things as we gather together. But the purpose really is to motivate us and mobilize us. We were founded as a Salvation Army, and an army that stays in its barracks is pretty useless. Therefore, we don't just wait for people to come to us, but we want to be out in the community. We want to be a force for good, a force for change, a force for the positive transformation in society. And so part of this weekend is actually mobilizing the troops and saying, don't get too comfortable sitting here, folks. There are needs out there to be met, and we need to get out in the community and make a difference. I think as we travel around the world, we see the importance of faith. And I say the importance of faith as opposed to religion, because religion has so many negative connotations. I think the biggest issue is still the number of people who do not benefit from the economic developments of the world. Even in our richest societies, the divide between rich and poor still continues to widen. It is the poor and the marginalized that are at great risk. Now, I've seen that in favelas in Brazil. I've seen it in the shanty towns in Africa. Whenever there's a natural disaster, whenever there's a fire, whenever there is landslides, it is the poorest of the poor because they live in vulnerable. Now, I had never realized to what extent people are living in precarious situations, dangerous situations within our own societies. And I think those are really huge issues. If ever we needed a Salvation Army in the world today, it is today.
How do you tackle a problem as big as global poverty?
You do it one step at a time. You do it like I think the Salvation Army is trying to do here in this province. The project, the Centre of Hope, which is well known to many Salvationists and people who live in Newfoundland and Labrador. What are we? Just a little over 500,000 population. Yet within that demographic, there is the acknowledgement of very significant need. And as the General is suggesting, every society has its diversity of the poorest of the poor and those who are doing very well in life. We have a way of coming in somewhere in the middle and helping to be a part of that safety net that communities, societies need, and obviously people appreciate. This reality that people who are at greatest risk often have the least of resources. Salvation Army wants to be standing close by to help in those situations.
But we are here in the Citadel today, and I'm just wondering how much of what you do is about also getting people to come here.
Yes, we are very interested in evangelism in the purest sense, that we want to share the faith that is the ethos of the Salvation Army, and to share that with those who would embrace it with us. And that is very much a fundamental part of who we are and what we do around the world, not just in a community. Because when we offer whatever we offer to the world, we offer it because we were motivated by the very simple and beautiful love of God. And that's where it all begins and where it all ends.
And we have a very simple international statement which says that we exist to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human need in his name without discrimination. And the two go very closely hand in hand.
Well, you heard Brian Peddle mention the Center of Hope, which is a $14 million housing and service facility the Salvation Army plans to build on Springdale Street in St. John's. Well, today they received a financial boost, $1.5 million in funding from the provincial and federal governments.
Now that's in addition to a funding commitment of $2.5 million from both levels of government 2 years ago. It's a big weekend for cod. The recreational food fishery kicks off, and it is the anniversary of the cod moratorium. A look at the future of the fishery is next. This Sunday marks a major anniversary in this province, a day when history truly changed. The cod moratorium began July 2nd, 1992. We've been living with the consequences ever since. But instead of looking back, beginning next Tuesday on Here and Now, we're going to look forward to the next 25 years. We're calling our series Cod Comeback. Zach Gowdy is here now to tell us what it's all about. So what are we going to see, Zach?
Well, Debbie, we're going to see people who've made big bets on the fishery of the future. People who strongly believe there is a bright future here, but who also understand that a lot has changed in the last 25 years, and the fishery we had then will never return. We need to do things differently. So everywhere you go in the fishery today, people are talking about a cod comeback. Cod stocks are at their highest levels now since the moratorium began, and many are excited about potentially returning to a commercial fishery one day. But the world didn't stop eating cod just because we got out of the business of catching it, right? The frozen cod you get at the grocery store today largely comes from Norway. The fresh stuff, just check the package, that's coming from Iceland. So if we do get a second chance at cod, we have to compete in this new global market, and that means we need a new approach to our cod fishery.
So Zach, what could that look like?
Well, the fishery is about to be affected by the same force that's disrupting manufacturing and global agriculture and many, many other industries, and that is automation. In this province today, there are engineers and scientists inventing smart robots that could one day process fish as well as a person can, just a lot faster and cheaper. Now, these people believe that this technology could put us at the leading edge of a revolution in fish processing, but others are afraid it could also potentially do to the processing sector what the self-driving car is going to do to the trucking business and the taxi business and the pizza delivery business, which is to put a lot of people out of business. So we'll look at that. Also, Debbie, our colleague Adam Walsh, she's on a 2-year assignment in Tokyo where some of the seafood that gets caught in this province actually winds up on the dinner plate. We have a contribution from him. And on our website, we've got a big haul, many data-driven stories, deep dives on the current state of the fishery, and we'll meet some of those young scientists who are designing that fishery of the future.
This sounds fantastic. Thanks very much, Zach, for telling us a little bit about this. So that's beginning next Tuesday on Here and Now. Look for Cod Comeback.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
So there you go. That's the potential fishery, cod fishery of the future, but right now the recreational fishery is open.
That's right. It kicks off tomorrow. It's open for 7 weekends between now and Labor Day.
Yes, and the usual rules apply. 5 ground fish per day per person with a maximum of 15 fish per boat.
And there will also be a fall fishery running for a week in late September for a few weeks.
So how's everything looking for tomorrow if you're heading out on the water?
Again, rain in the morning, clearing into the afternoon. I think the biggest thing, the good news, everybody can stand the rain with the fishing suits on, but the winds are not going to be a big factor. Winds becoming northerly, 20 sustained, but nothing too, 20 kilometers per hour that is, nothing too significant out there in terms of winds for both Saturday and Sunday. There are your temperatures for tomorrow as we look at your provincial forecast. 13 to 14 degrees is about it in terms of temperature thanks to that northerly wind developing. We'll be warmer along that south and west coast, and Labrador is looking at a fantastic Canada Day with beautiful skies and beautiful temperatures. Now, as we take a look at that Canada Day fireworks forecast, whether it's in your backyard or whether you're heading down to the big light show at Kitty Vitty Lake, you're going to want to bundle up. Temperatures are looking a little on the cool side. Thanks to those northerly winds, we're talking about high single digits, 7 to 8 degrees, a little bit warmer for the west and south coast of the island. Only chance of rain will be in Lab West, and that is thanks to this next system, which is rolling in from the west, and it'll arrive in Lab City first in the form of showers. The steadier rains will wait until Sunday for you folks to roll in. It's going to be a quiet start to the island. As we roll throughout the day on Sunday, the rain is going to push up into southwestern parts of Newfoundland. I think we're looking at some onshore drizzle thanks to southeasterly winds along the south coast. St. John's, I think, stays dry until around supper time or after, so it's a late day risk here. Afternoon showers will pull into central, but I do think we will see some sunshine there. Same thing through Happy Valley Goose Bay. And again, the cloudiest, dampest looking forecast will be Lab West, and then for western parts of Newfoundland into the afternoon. Now watch your timeline here, Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. St. John's and the Avalon gets into the mix. The system's a pretty quick mover in terms of how fast it comes through, and so I do think the showers Monday will be easing into the afternoon, and we will see some sunshine developing across eastern parts of Newfoundland. Better chance of sun. Still an isolated risk of a shower for central and western Newfoundland on Monday, and scattered showers for Happy Valley Goose Bay back towards Lab West where it's cool. But look at those temps on the island. 23 to 24, maybe even 25 degrees in central. Really looking like a nice day in terms of those temperatures. Now that 7-day trend, we are going to hang on to the nice stuff for Tuesday. If you can take an extended long weekend, then Tuesday is looking like a dandy with temps again into those low to mid 20s. That's a bit of a northerly wind that looks set to kick in on Wednesday with patchy drizzle for St. John's, but only a 1-day blip. Again, with the water temperature so cool, we are so dependent on the wind. So that's a northerly wind Wednesday, back to a southerly wind Thursday. That's why the bit of a hiccup there. And into Labrador again, certainly Saturday is the pick of the weekend with temps recovering into next week.
We're going to introduce you now to 6-year-old Amy Waterman of Labrador City. Amy is in the Can Skate program with the Wabash Figure Skating Club.
Yes, here she is receiving her Level 5 ribbon during skating school.
Congrats, Amy. You are today's Young Athlete of the Day.
A spectacular sight in Charlottetown Harbor today. 9 tall ships as part of a special sailing race to celebrate the nation's 150th birthday.
As the frigate HMCS Charlottetown will lead the Canada Day Fleet Review. The ships will stay docked in the harbor until Sunday.
Stay tuned for more on the July 1st celebrations, including Peter Mansbridge's final sign-off. Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, people across the country will be marking Canada Day tomorrow, but for people born on July 1st, 1967, the day is extra special. They were known as Canada's Centennial babies, and this year they turned 50. Chris O'Neill Yates has 2 of their stories.
Happy birthday to you.
Birthdays have never been an ordinary affair for Ethel Ann Edwards. A combined Canada Day birthday celebration kept alive through the years by her mother.
Canada's 100th birthday, and she was in the hospital in labor on me and, of course, had me later that evening.
And a special memento marks the day, a medallion from the Government of Canada. In Newfoundland, July 1st also marks a very somber anniversary, the loss of hundreds of young men at the Battle of Beaumont-Hamel in World War I. Edward's grandfather survived the war, but never forgot those who didn't.
When he passed away, I was the one chosen to lay the wreath in Placentia on July 1st. So that was super special to me.
Another special moment.
When I met my spouse, we got married on July 1st. So I always joke with him that he can never forget my birthday or our anniversary because he has the whole country to remind him.
Everyone thinks it's cool that I have Canada Day as my birthday because you always get your birthday off.
Carol Tidd's 5th birthday was very special. That year, 1973, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip visited Canada.
My parents were asked if, because I was a Centennial baby, if I'd give flowers to the Queen when she opened the Scarborough Civic Centre.
July 1st is also a day for reflection and for being thankful.
I mean, we're known for our great lifestyle, our health care, our natural resources.
Canada is so accepting of all different nationalities and faiths and backgrounds.
I can't think I'd live anywhere else other than Canada.
Oh, I love being Canadian.
And this year, 50 big reasons to celebrate. Chris O'Neill-Yates, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, after nearly 50 years with the CBC and 30 years as anchor of the National, Peter Mansbridge will sign off from the program for the last time tonight. And as he prepares to say goodbye, he looks back on a career witnessing Canada's history. Stephanie Van Kempen reports.
Canada is still here tonight, but just barely. Quebecers have voted no to sovereignty.
For 3 decades, his unfaltering voice has narrated history, broadcast into Canadian homes every night.
Let us recap for you what has happened today on what has proven to be an unforgettable day.
Mansbridge was a 19-year-old airport baggage handler in 1968 when a CBC radio manager heard him make an announcement.
It wasn't the plan. I mean, I hadn't done well at high school. I didn't have my diploma, and I'd gone off into the Navy. Hadn't done so well there either. And I ended up in a little airport in Churchill, Manitoba, working for a little airline called Transair.
I'm Peter Mansbridge. Mansbridge spent the next 49 years reporting all over Canada and the world. He's hosted 34 Canada Day celebrations, 13 Olympics, and every visit of the Queen. And he says saying goodbye won't be easy.
There's going to be a part of me that will, will look up when a fire engine goes by or a police car or there's a bulletin on the air.
But the past 12 months has brought
The face of CBC won't entirely leave the network. He plans to work on documentaries periodically. And as he walks out the door of CBC through an area now named in his honor, Mansbridge says he's overwhelmed by all the love.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, really. I'm just this kid who, started a long time ago and was lucky enough to be in a great corporation that took me around the country and around the world. And now suddenly my name will be hanging there for, future people to realize, especially journalists, that everything's possible.
And that's the National for this Tuesday morning here in Kabul. That's the National for this Wednesday night. That's the National for this Thursday night. I'm Peter Mansbridge. Thanks for watching.
Stephanie Van Kempen, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, speaking of change, there's a big political change coming to BC after 16 years. The province is getting a new government with a new premier. The minority Liberal government of Christy Clark failed to survive a confidence vote in the legislature last night. New Democrat and Green MLAs combined to defeat her. The Lieutenant Governor called on the leader of the NDP to form a government. There's no date yet for John Horgan to be sworn in.
Well, many customers using Interac, the online money transfer service, are experiencing delays for a second day. The company says it's trying to resolve what it calls a significant technical difficulty with its e-transfer system. Interac can be used for bill payments and to transfer funds. Customers affected by the disruption have taken to social media to voice their frustration. To add to their woes, some financial institutions have completely suspended Interac services for now.
Preparations are, of course, well underway for tomorrow's Canada Day show on Parliament Hill. The Prime Minister was there for rehearsals along with his wife, Sophie Gregoire Trudeau. They also visited the ceremonial teepee put up by Indigenous activists. In a compromise with police and organizers, it was moved to a more prominent location overnight to the left of the stage. Trudeau spoke with activists today for more than half an hour about their concerns. Later, they told reporters they gave Trudeau credit for visiting them. They also promised they would hold him accountable for his promise to improve relations with Indigenous people.
Think of it as literally a window into Canada's heart and soul. These are paintings sent to us by viewer Joanne Abbott.
She's a Quebec artist painting windows for Canada 150. They showcase the beauty of both Canada's landscapes and its people.
We'll be right back.
So have you heard the one about the canine who loves classical music? There he is. The Vienna Chamber Orchestra was recently performing in Turkey when this dog decided it deserved some of the spotlight. Nothing to bark about, it just walked onto the stage before lying down. Like the orchestra, they don't seem fazed at all.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they probably all wondered what everybody was laughing at.
Yeah. Especially the folks on the strings in the back who probably had no idea.
Yeah.
So Canada isn't the only one celebrating a big birthday this week.
Yes, let's see who else is celebrating birthdays or anniversaries.
Happy 50th anniversary to Gert and Lorne King of Kelligrews, Conception Bay South, who will celebrate tomorrow. John and Winnie McLean of Green Island Cove will be celebrating their 50th anniversary tomorrow as well. And another golden couple who were married on July 1st. Congratulations to Sean and Loretta Dobbin from St. John's. Best wishes to David and Margaret Hiscock from Guelph, Ontario, formerly from Corner Brook and Bay Roberts, who'll have their 50th wedding anniversary July 6th. Happy 90th birthday today to Olga Payne from Cowhead.
Happy 50th anniversary today to Sam and Minnie Norman of Port Union. And it's a golden anniversary as well today for Ivan and Sandra Lee Antle. Congratulations to Gladys and Guy Toms of Carbonear on their 56th wedding anniversary tomorrow. Happy 55th anniversary to Mike and Madeline Thompson. Birthday greetings to Ethel Butler of St. John's, who turned 93 on Wednesday.
Congratulations to Roy and Sandra Taggart, who will celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary July 15th. Happy 60th anniversary to Wes and Inez Manning of North Harbour, Placentia Bay, who celebrated on the 28th. Congratulations to Bessie and Gordon Bartlett of Kippens, who will celebrate their 63rd wedding anniversary this Sunday. Happy 55th anniversary to Chess and Patricia Carter of Gander. Happy 50th anniversary to Jack and Clara Joyce of Corner Brook, who celebrated this week.
Happy 90th birthday on July 2nd to Ada Day, originally from Galtus, now in Topsail. Happy birthday to Gertrude Lane of Eastport, who celebrated her 97th birthday on the 28th. Happy anniversary to Charles and Florence Stacy, who will be celebrating their 56th wedding anniversary tomorrow. And a big happy birthday to Phyllis Snow, who will celebrate her 100th birthday tomorrow. Happy 57th wedding anniversary to Frank and Honor Dominy of Botwood, whose special day was Wednesday.
Happy 50th anniversary to Gilbert and Daphne Pritchett. Happy anniversary to Robert and Jean Neville of St. John's, who will be married 56 years tomorrow. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Edward and Kay Daw of Upper Gullies. Happy birthday to Ward Young of Beachside, who turned 90 on Monday. He currently lives in Springdale. Happy 50th anniversary to Ned and Bernice Janes of Port aux Basques.
Happy 61st wedding anniversary to Bill and Marion Hiscock of Burin Bay. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Doreen and Dave Hillier, now living in Bay Bulls. Happy birthday wishes going out to Mary Leonard of the Goulds, who will be celebrating her 92nd birthday on Sunday. Happy 58th anniversary to Gordon and Gladys Noble, who celebrated on the 24th. And it was 59 years of marriage for Donald and Irene Shano of Dover on June 25th.
Happy 60th anniversary to Len and Muriel Dix of Springdale. Happy 98th birthday to Winnie Parsons of Glen Burnie. Laura and Len Williams celebrated their golden anniversary on the 23rd. Another golden couple celebrating their anniversary tomorrow, July 1st. Congratulations to Dan and Mary Turner of Gander. Congratulations to Weston and Dorothy Williams of the Goulds on their 58th wedding anniversary on the 27th. Happy 55th anniversary to Paul and Gwen Hollett of Epworth, whose special day is coming up on Monday.
Congratulations to Anne and Patrick Flanagan of Lawn on their 50th wedding anniversary tomorrow. Alexander and Nita Jones of Indian Bay are celebrating their 59th wedding anniversary today. Happy birthday to Mildred Bartlett from Kings Point, who's 90 years old. Happy 50th anniversary to Willie and Margaret Hoskins from St. Albans, celebrating on July 4th. Prim and Gloria Toop were married 53 years ago yesterday, the 29th. Congratulations. And happy 67th wedding anniversary to Raymond and Hannah Sears of St. John's, who will be celebrating tomorrow, Canada Day.
Another fine-looking crew. Congrats to everybody there. And have a look at one last check at your long weekend forecast. Mark, if you could drop that box at the bottom, I'd appreciate that. Thank you, sir. And you can see where we are looking at temperatures certainly building as we move towards Monday, which will be the warmest day of the forecast on the island. Saturday is the pick of the weekend in Labrador. And speaking of Labrador, how about this shot? An iceberg in an iceberg, kind of. An iceberg through an iceberg, thanks to Gladys. And that's from Cartwright.
Oh, that's lovely. Thanks again, Gladys. And I hope you all have a wonderful long weekend. Enjoy your day tomorrow. We'll see you next week.
Good night.